20s or 30s, the nice girl, the like take her home or something like that. But I think that Stefan, he liked wild women. He's about 15 or 20 years her senior, and they're just having fun, it seems like. Now, the way that they like to have fun is drinking. They loved to drink. They were both super, super aggressive alcoholics. And, sometimes people like this, they tend to argue a lot. But, maybe it was every other night they argue. Maybe there's 2 good nights and there's 1 bad one. Whatever. They were just having fun. And sometimes that toxicity is fun for people because it's familiar. People that were raised in a home with, let's say, an abusive parent that constantly said, like, I love you, I'm your mom, or something like that. They end up teaching a relationship of abuse, and then they teach the child that abuse is love. And so sometimes when that kind of isn't healed or rectified, later in life, you go out and seek these types of volatile relationships because it feels comfortable to you. Ana Trujillo is probably used to, like duking it out and, battling. Like, to her, this is love. It's fun. It's generating emotion. Sometimes people they believe that love has to generate a strong emotion. Arguing and anger is not the emotion that you're looking for. Another thing about their relationship, Stefan had a shoe fetish. Now, I don't know if Ana participated in it and enjoyed it as well, or if she was just, taking all these free shoes he was buying her. Homie had her up in the Louboutins, to see her walking around in the red bottoms. This man truly did have a shoe fetish. When they went out together, she was always wearing heels. And not just like a little kick up. I'm talking like some 5.5-inch stilettos. And he loved it. Did she love this? Debatable, but you see her in several pictures wearing all the shoes, and seems like everything worked out. So, that was the plan. She was in her 40s, he was, late 50s, and they were just gonna get married, be wild, and get drunk all the time together and live happily ever after. But of course, that's not what's going to happen today. Let's go back to Ana's history a little bit. She has an incredibly unique history of violence. If you're familiar with the Heather Barbera case, you remember what she did before what she did. Or if you're familiar with the Amy Bishop case, you know what she did before she did what she did. You must pay attention to these patterns of violence. One thing that Ana did that was very strange was there was a report where a witness actually took the stand afterwards in court and said that Ana just slapped them after a very brief argument. Homie was slapping strangers in public. This to me shows this entitlement to the world. Like, I can let my anger out on whoever I want and just walk away. You know what I mean? Another incident, she had ex-husbands, she had ex-boyfriends, and there was one instance where she went to her ex's house and she's kind of either trying to stay there, or maybe they said she was trying to steal something. And eventually he tells her, you need to get out. She's drunk, she's arguing, she feels entitled to this space, maybe because she'd been there in the past. That doesn't mean anything. She's throwing a full-on fit, and he knows how she is, and he's like, you need to get the fuck out. Ana bites him. She fights him, and then ultimately ends up gnawing on the man. She bit him. You know who else bit people? Stephanie Lazarus. There is a history with these people that you must take seriously. And if the biting wasn't the icing on the cake, picture this. You're coming home from dinner and you're with your husband, your wife, whatever. You walk in, you turn on the lights, you just kind of walk through the foyer, walk by the dining room, the bathroom's on the left, and something catches your eye. And you look over, and there's a woman shitting in your toilet. That woman was Ana Trujillo. That really happened. Neighbors came home and she was just taking a dump in their bathroom. This woman is terrifying. Like I said, she had a history of getting into arguments and fights with boyfriends and exes. And on June 9th, 2013, Ana and Stefan went out for a night of drinking, as usual. In fact, they're probably on their way to the bar wondering what they're going to be arguing about later. I mean, this is normal for them. Even the bar that they were going to, the bar patrons have seen them argue before. This is just a regular night. Sometimes after a while, people just accept abuse as part of their relationship or their pattern. So they go out to this bar and they're drinking, talking to people, having fun, just doing what they do. And that's kind of when the argument starts. But this wasn't really the usual. They ended up leaving, and they ended up leaving very abruptly and calling a cab. They were picked up by a woman named Rosemary Gomez. And on the ride back home, Rosemary said that Anna was absolutely wasted, belligerent, cursing, yelling at him, all while he didn't really respond much. He just kind of took it. And Anna's just going off, throwing a fit. And Rosemary is so concerned that when she finally pulls up to the house to drop them off, and Anna gets out and storms off, Rosemary says to Stefan, "You need to be careful. Your friend is not in the right state of mind." It is so powerful to me that Rosemary said, "not in the right state of mind." She is somewhere else. She is fighting some other battle in her mind. It's almost like Stefan is just the one that's here and that's present. And Stefan turns to Rosemary and he shakes her hand and he squeezes it and he says, "I'll be okay." And he goes inside. It's incredibly haunting to me that he says, "I'll be okay," because the abuse that he was experiencing in the back of that car was normal for him. He's used to it from Anna. Maybe he's used to it from someone else too. And when you take that type of abuse, whether it's from an early age or later in life or whatever, you kind of start to believe that this is what you deserve. It pushes your boundaries. It makes you almost feel safer there in that abuse because this is what you've experienced your whole life. And so he's used to Anna being like this at this point, no matter what level it is, no matter what anyone says. So what ends up happening is they get inside and the argument escalates. We have no idea what words were said. The only person that's still alive that was in that room is Anna Trujillo. But what we do know is that at some point in the hallway, Anna rushed him and tackled him to the ground. And she pulled off her stiletto and she hit Stefan. And when I think about how he deals with this abuse, this is not the first time that he's been hit before. And so when Anna hits him with that shoe the first time, he probably thinks she's just being herself. And when she hits him a second time with that stiletto, he thinks she's just being herself. And then when she hits him a third time with that stiletto, he probably thinks, "Oh my God, this hurts." She's letting it out, because that's often what abuse victims do. They take it and they believe that they deserve it. And when she struck him again that fourth time, there's got to be a moment of fear in Stefan's head where he realizes, is she going to stop? And then she hits him again. And then at this point, he's probably really feeling the effects of being stabbed in the face with a 5-inch stiletto. With a 59-year-old man taking injuries like this and losing blood, there is a point. But oh my God, Anna doesn't stop after the 5th or the 6th or the 7th or the 8th or the 9th or the 10th. She continues to beat this man with the stiletto. I believe that she did this because she wanted to punish him with something that he loved. It was like literally throwing it back in his face. Anna stabbed this man with that 5-inch stiletto in the face over 20 times. She broke bones, she broke skin, she probably pierced his eyes. She had completely destroyed his face. And a lot of times when people do this, it's, "I hate you, I never want to see you again, I never want to see your face again, I never want to see you talk to me, I never want to see you smile at me ever, ever, ever and again." And she kept going and she kept going and she let it all out. And I also believe that it was not Stefan that Anna was really angry at. It was somebody else, and this was who was in front of her. So after she stabs him to death in the face with a fucking shoe, she calls 911 and plays victim. I'm unable to find the call online, but I was able to find some